Are you excited? Are you not entertained? Maybe you should ask yourself why not. Welcome back to the Offseason, and specifically episode 1, coaching of the offseason in 2020 for the Miami Dolphins. And today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the head man in charge, Mr. Brian Flores. What kind of a job has Brian Flores done in Miami? Can we draw any conclusions about the job that he's done in Miami? I don't think it's realistic to say that we can draw any conclusions about the job he's done in Miami right now, but I do think we can gain some insight into the type of coach he is. And what started me thinking about this was back after the Dolphins beat the Eagles, there was a disagreement between a local beat writer in Miami by the name of Omar Kelly and Joe Rose, former Dolphin great, on his radio show. And Omar Kelly asked the question, how can you say that Brian Flores is a good coach? What has improved since the first month of the season? And rather than me trying to give you a complete summary, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip of that discussion, and you can go over to 560 QAM and give it a listen for yourself on the Joe Rose show. And I'll see you back on the other side of this.
You beat them. You beat the snot out of them. You scored 37 points. You finally figured out the magic trick to Ryan Fitzmagic and Devontae Parker. You just beat the Philadelphia Eagles, so why can't you beat the Jets, the Giants, and Cincinnati? You want to talk about how great the coaching has been for a team that's 30.
So now you're taking shots at him after you said you didn't say very little payoff. You said that.
What I said is you want to sing the praises of a coach whose team is 31st or 32nd in 8 statistical categories.
He's got zero talent. Defense. You can write those stats down. I got them every week too.
Okay, that's the excuse everybody always makes, and then says, "Oh well, they're winning. They're a good team. He's coaching them great. There isn't a single problem that they fixed all season."
All right, let's go ahead and stop it right there. And I'm going to give you my take on that conversation. And I understand what Omar Kelly is trying to say. But back then, what he was doing was he was quoting the Dolphins' season-long statistics while simultaneously asking what has improved in his coaching staff since the first month of the season. So what I went back and did was I looked at those first 4 games before the bye week, and I removed all of the statistics from the first 4 weeks of the season and divided them by the final 12 games, and then referenced that against the rest of the league to see exactly what did improve. And here's what I came out with. So let's start out with the defense, because Brian Flores is a defensive football coach, and that's his specialty. That's his baby. So at the end of 4 weeks, the Miami Dolphins were in last place in every single statistical category. So let's look at total yardage. After you remove the first 4 games in total yardage defense, the Dolphins gave up 373 yards per game. That's good enough for 23rd in the NFL. When you look at points per game allowed, they gave up 27.5 points per game. That's good enough for 27th in the NFL. Let's look at rushing defense. They improved to 25th against the rest of the NFL. And let's look at passing defense. They improved to 23rd against the NFL. Going over to the offensive side of the ball, once again, removing those first 4 games and dividing them by the final 12 and referencing it against the league. They improved to 23rd in total offense. They were 31st in rushing. They improved to 7th in passing yardage. Now, that's ahead of the New England Patriots. They improved to 17th in points per game, and that's slightly behind Green Bay. So when you ask what improved since the beginning of the season, I would say almost everything that could be improved, because there's certain things that you're not going to be able to improve, such as rushing offense, because that's strictly an attitude and talent thing. And until the talent improves, you're probably not going to gain a lot of improvement in rushing. And that brings me to another point. because there's some things to take into consideration about the job that Brian Flores has done, considering the circumstances. And what do I mean by that? Look at the talent that this team traded away. Look at how many players they claimed on Monday and started on the following Sunday. Do you know what it takes in the NFL to claim a player from another roster's practice squad in another scheme and get them ready to play a football game on Sunday and be competent in what they're doing? The Miami Dolphins did that on the regular this season. As a matter of fact, they used an NFL record 80 players in a single season. So as far as I'm concerned, Brian Flores did a hell of a job this season. Now, am I going to anoint Brian Flores as the second coming of Don Shula? No, it's too soon for that. We fell for that with Adam Gase because in Adam Gase's rookie season as a head coach, he correctly diagnosed Ryan Tannehill as a play-action passer who needed a running game and shocked the NFL by going to the playoffs. But what did he do after that? In his final 2 seasons, he converted to a pass-happy offense, and we know that Ryan Tannehill is not that guy. So let's dig into the insight piece of this. What that suggests to me is that Brian Flores is a damn good teacher. And that is the key element in coaching. You can know everything that you want to know about football, but if you cannot convey that to a player so that they can process it and play on Sundays, then it does not matter. And I want to give you some perspective from the context that I'm coming from. I did not want Brian Flores. I wanted the Miami Dolphins to hire Chris Richard from Dallas. So everything that I am seeing is turning me into a Brian Flores fan because it looks as though Brian Flores does share some traits with the former Dolphin coach, Don Shula. And one of those things is players can never get comfortable. You know, there's an anecdote going around about how Brian Flores would quiz players on Tuesday about their opponent. And when they did not have an answer for the player that they were going to face, he would ask them, how can you not know that? He is fully expecting you to do your job. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like another coach? And that brings us to another point about Brian Flores. It's not just the players who can't get comfortable. Have you seen the changes on his coaching staff? Did you see the changes in his coaching staff before the season even started? And that's going to lead us into the second episode in this series, when we evaluate the comings and goings of his coaching staff. See you on the other side.
You think you're smarter than me, you ain't smarter than me. Solo nights. Bonafide beats. Heavy hit spits, wildfire style. Freak flows fast, close chord dial. Make links slate at the 8 pass. Make more papes, too tired, crash. Self-serve cake all night, nag. Hurry home now, girl gets mad. Love lifestyle, love lace pad. Every extra mile goes got grab. Rose foes still, blocks broke through. Made more mills, down drop jewels.